Welcome back. ChannelsTV.com has more information for you. And on YouTube.com/channelsweb, you can watch our videos. You can also watch us on your mobile device via your browser or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows devices from their respective stores. Besides giving you access to news updates, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app have an eyewitness feature. You can use that to share pictures, videos, or even news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. To the south-south region of the country now, and protesting Yoruba youth have laid siege to the Ejemawari office of the Heritage Operational Energy Services Limited, demanding that the former lease operators at the OML should give way for new operators to come in. The oil company officials thereafter sought a meeting with them to find a mutually beneficial resolution to the parties concerned. The protesters arrive at the Shell Gate Ejemawari, the operational office of the Heritage Operational Energy Services Limited. Carrying placards which boldly describe their demands, they chant songs of solidarity. The president of the Yoruba Youth Council worldwide, on behalf of the youth, expressed their discontent over various alleged inhumane activities of the former operators of the lease. They also called for the probe of the outgoing Community Development Board, which was responsible for managing the resources from the oil company on behalf of the host communities.
We want Heritage to patronize indigenous contractors. Yoruba youth should be empowered, should be given opportunity, because we knew we are those that are looking the property. We are taking care of the property, not them.
Dissolve CDB board should not be dealt with anymore. And the account of the CDB is going to be probed. The job of the surveillance should not be given to a foreigner.
Some minutes later, officials of Heritage Operational Energy Services Limited are out to calm the frayed nerves and then invite them for a closed-door discussion. At the end of the meeting, both parties appear satisfied with some of the resolutions reached, with the representative of the oil company reminding the youth of the negative effects of pipeline vandalism, as well as the need to maintain a cordial relationship between the communities and the oil companies.
Heritage has very good intentions for the community, and whatever must have gone wrong in the past went wrong not as a result of Heritage, but as a result of some players, which has to be corrected.
Agitations such as these are not new in this region, with the same issues ranging from unemployment and lack of other basic and essential infrastructure being the remote causes. The best approach is expected to find not just a temporary, but a more lasting solution that will suit all parties concerned. The Department of State Services has arrested a former governor of Benue State, Mr. Gabriel Suswam, over security issues in the state. He was arrested following a petition allegedly written to the DSS by the state governor over the security concerns. An aide to the governor, the former governor that is, confirmed to Channels Television that Mr. Suswam is being questioned about, but it hasn't linked him to any crime. The DSS had arrested him in 2017 over a large cache of arms and ammunition uncovered from a property allegedly belonging to him in Abuja. The DSS spokesman, Antonio Puyo, claimed that last year's operation was informed by intelligence that some incriminating items were stashed in the boots of cars parked at the property linked to him. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees is calling for durable solutions to human needs, particularly refugees around the world. The representatives of the United Nations Refugee Agency in Nigeria is also asking for collective strategies to deal with the challenges facing them. He was speaking at the commemoration of the World Refugee Day in Abuja, where participants celebrated the strength and courage of refugees in this part of the world. Our correspondent Kayla Megwa reports.
The UNHCR
Wilima and Gloria are refugees from the Democratic Republic of Congo and Cameroon, currently living in Lagos and Benue states.
They assisted us, most of the refugees, in completing our primary school, getting to the secondary school level. They were also there to assist us.
We get a French-speaking and English-speaking for our country, where it don't cause us problem, where we don't make them, will not be free for worker for our country again.
Today we are gathered here.
Speaking on the plight of refugees, the Honorable Federal Commissioner of the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons said those living in refugee camps were forced there by circumstances, stating that the Nigerian government's non-encampment policy is evidence that assisting refugees is part of the value system of the country.
Nigeria hosts 1,960 over refugees, 809 asylum seekers, persons from Africa, Middle East, Asia, and Europe, respectively. There's also an influx of Cameroonian refugees fleeing clashes between the Cameroonian government and separatist forces, with a staggering figure of over 21,000 so far registered.
During his speech, the representative of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees highlighted the biggest challenge facing the agency. He believes that human beings should not be eternally dependent on humanitarian assistance.
Being a refugee, therefore, should not be equal to be dependent. It should be about depending on the protection of the country of asylum, but not necessarily dependent on assistance forever.
A tripartite agreement aimed at the voluntary repatriation of over 91,000 Nigerian refugees from Cameroon was signed in March of 2017 in Yaoundé between the governments of Nigeria, Cameroon, and the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Its technical working group, however, is yet to resolve the modalities for return of refugees. It is hoped that voluntary repatriation should commence in July of this year. Kayla Mebwa, Channels Television News.
And to health now, one parameter which will reduce child mortality in the country is the reduction of deaths due to sickle cell disease. The Sickle Cell Foundation in Lagos has been deliberating on the matter as part of activities to mark World Sickle Cell Day. Our correspondent Mary Alala Yusuf reports.
It's a room full of experts in hematology, doctors, guests and people living with sickle cell disorder. It's the first annual sickle cell lecture. In Nigeria, where sickle cell disease is one of the most common causes of death in children, many are acquainted with the problem.
We know what happens from patient and family level. Huge psychological burdens, a lot of grief over time, lots of joys over those who, survive. Let's not talk about the economic burden on the family, the hardship posed, and the massive healthcare costs.
Guests at the event give insight into some useful methods of management.
If people can be informed adequately about the disease, it will enable them to make critical decisions about procreation and their life partner.
In developed countries where sickle cell disease children are managed using the intervention of the comprehensive health care management protocol, their mortality has reduced from 16 to 30% to less than 1%. In Africa, where we are yet to adopt this protocol of care, our mortality has remained high.
In his lecture, the guest speaker, a professor of medicine, pediatrics, pathology and laboratory medicine in Boston, Massachusetts, explains the importance of fetal hemoglobin, the blood found in infants, to management of the disease.
We know for sure from studies of patients with certain types of sickle cell conditions that if you had enough fetal hemoglobin in the cell to prevent sickle hemoglobin polymerization, the disease would essentially be cured.
He also speaks about the future of treatment.
Based on the rate of progress and the success of gene therapy so far in thalassemia, and the very rapid progress in genome editing, that it's almost a sure bet that this type of treatment is going to work.
The Sickle Cell Foundation welcomes the idea of a breakthrough in the treatment of sickle cell disease.
Management research is very important, and that's why we have that center. And we even built hotel rooms there so that those who want to come from abroad, we have 7 rooms, can come, because there are more money voted for sickle cell research in America, but they don't see as many patients, so they can come where they can see more, and the research can be done quicker and faster, more effectively with us.
Every year, about 150,000 children are born with sickle cell disease in Nigeria.
Nigeria continues after the break with the annual Doba Festival holding in Kano State. Please stay with us.